And we welcome you back to Westmoreland on the Gridiron on the Westmoreland Sports Network. Dan Flickinger with you, and joining me is the WSN Player of the Week for Week 7. He is Nate Schlessinger of the Penn-Trafford Warriors. Nate went 6 for 6 in extra points last week, plus set a new Penn-Trafford record with a 48-yard field goal against Connellsville. Nate, thank you so much for taking some time out to join us tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Nate, when you kicked that 48-yard field goal last week, did you know it was a record? And if you didn't, when did you find out?
I did know it was a record. We have a kind of yearbook that we give out every year of football that has all of our football records. So I've kind of been eyeing that record for a few years now.
So when you went out and knew that you could set a record before the ball was snapped, what was kind of going through your mind?
I was just thinking, I got this, I took a couple deep breaths. I thought to myself, this is my chance, and I didn't want to mess it up. So I just took a few deep breaths and hit it.
So you said you knew what the record was. That probably means some of your teammates and coaches knew what the record was as well. So what was the celebration like then?
It was awesome. They all were very happy for me. All the coaches were happy for me, and all the players were congratulating me.
That's a really cool feat. Again, congratulations on doing that, Nate. When you kick a longer field goal like that, is there anything that you have to do differently with your mechanics?
In short, no. A little higher level of concentration is needed as you get farther out, and you always need to trust yourself to put it through. Mechanics-wise, the most important thing is really how you strike the ball. If you strike it cleanly, the power and accuracy will come with it.
John Ruane has said he's confident with you 55 yards and in, and that is not something that he gives out lightly, and that's also not something that is very, not many kickers have that kind of leeway. Do you agree that you're pretty good 55 yards in, and what is the longest kick that you've ever made?
I do agree with that. I think that as long as I hit the ball cleanly, I definitely have the power for 55 and in, and I trust my accuracy. In full pads, the longest I've attempted and made is a little over 50 yards in practice. And out of pads, the longest I've ever made is 60, so I definitely trust it.
How challenging is it? For those that don't know, Nate is also a soccer player, and a good one, for the Penn-Trafford soccer team. So you're juggling two sports right now, and we've seen previous kickers do that at Penn-Trafford as well. But how difficult is it for you? What kind of challenge is that for you to kind of juggle two sports? And can you kind of give us a sense of what your weekly schedule is?
For me, it's really never been hard to juggle it. The football coaches work very diligently to make it work. I go to soccer 5 days a week, with the exceptions of if we have a far away game on a Friday night that I have to leave early for. And I go to football 1 or 2 days a week when they need me to kick. The soccer and football coaches have always worked together to ensure minimal conflicts. And the football coaches understand that soccer practice will come first during the season.
And you first decided to play football, what was it, 2019? Was that your first year?
Yeah, going into sophomore year.
Sophomore year. So what kind of made you decide to try football? And obviously it's going real well for you, but who has also worked with you to kind of, understand some, I guess, football-type things? Who's worked with you the most?
I really decided to try it because of Coach Brady and Coach Yakimelli, who are very good friends with my parents. Mm-hmm. And they said going into sophomore year, we're looking for a kicker, and they talked me into it, and I really owe it to them for convincing me to do it. On the team, Coach Tarabrella has probably worked with me the most simply because his son was a kicker. Mm-hmm. His older son, that is. He has a younger son on the team now. Mm-hmm. And so he remembers some of the stuff his son told him, and he passes it on to me.
Yeah, we're talking about Nick Tarabrella. So what has been the biggest challenge for you, I guess, physically? Obviously, you've been kicking a soccer ball, I'm sure, for a long period of time. What was the biggest challenge physically coming over and playing football compared to soccer?
I think it was just making sure I take proper care of my body. It's very physically demanding to play both sports, especially having an away game on a Friday night and potentially an away game again on Saturday morning for soccer. So it's really about getting proper nutrition and proper rest. But I think that I've managed that well enough through my career.
Nate, when you go out and kick a field goal or an extra point, what kind of goes through your mind, the mind of a kicker? What goes through your mind?
Just thinking about putting it through. I take a few breaths to calm myself, and I focus on getting good contact. I have full faith in my long snapper, Conlon Green, and my holder, Carter Green. They've been outstanding this season and last season, and I know with them I'll never have to worry about whether or not the ball is there. I'll just have to worry about putting it through.
So the trio of Schlessinger, Green, and Green, it almost sounds like a law firm or something, but I know you have a bunch of confidence in those guys for sure. You also hit the end zone many times with your kickoffs. I mean, what's your strategy going out there and just swinging away, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I've never had any formal training, so it's more been a learning on the fly kind of thing, but I've found that I try to hit a little lower on the ball than what I think most college coaches would say. I went out to a camp this summer, and they said they want height, and I said that doesn't really matter to me in the high school season. I'm focusing on putting it in the end zone, getting that touchback, so I just focus on hitting it lower, getting a little more of a line drive, and putting it in the touchback zone.
And you've gotten a ton of those this year, and I know John Ruane loves those, that's for sure. In terms of your soccer season, you guys are having a fine season, a couple losses to end the season, but you're in the playoffs. So what do you expect in the postseason from your team?
This year was really a rebuilding year for us, and so our goal at the start of the season was simply to make playoffs. And now that we're in playoffs, the expectation is to win. We're going to take it one game at a time, one day at a time with our practice, and we'll hopefully shock some people and prove how much we've improved.
Yeah, I mean, you've lost some close games, even down the stretch. You fought Norwin, right there to the end. So I'm sure you feel like, hey, when we get in the playoffs, we have a chance just as much as anyone, right?
Absolutely, and especially in the WPIAL high school soccer, anybody can beat anybody, and I firmly believe that if we play as well as we can go deep.
Nate, in terms of your college plans, I know you committed to play soccer at Franklin and Marshall back in the summer. So what went into that decision? And have some coaches kind of come at you from the football side recently and said, hey, do you want to rethink that and maybe come play football for us?
Yeah, I really considered everything. I got the offer in the summer after heading out to one of their ID camps, and I looked at it and all the options, and I really think that it's the right fit for me. The coaches there are fantastic, the school is lovely, and the team really is a family. And now on the football side, I've had a few coaches contact me, and I don't think that I'll change my decision. I really like Franklin and Marshall.
Hey, you have to do what you like at the next level, especially with it being that demanding. It's certainly demanding in the classroom and on the field or the pitch. So that's good that you kind of landed on your decision. Tell us a little bit about Franklin Regional Special Teams. Have you gone over anything yet? I know they have some dangerous returners. Have the coaches gone over anything, what you can kind of expect from them yet?
That's actually pretty funny because I have actually not been to practice yet this week, so
Okay.
I can't speak much on that. If I had to guess, however, I would guess that we'll be going deep. Our coverage team is good, and I think the coaches trust me to hit touchbacks.
Yep. Well, again, I have seen Franklin Regional a few times this year. They do have some dangerous returners, but if you kick the ball into the end zone, you take that out of the equation, don't you?
Absolutely.
Hey, Nate, thank you so much for this. We're not done yet, though. We have our quick 6 questions as we kind of ask you some questions so people get a better knowledge of Nate Schlessinger. You ready for this, buddy?
Absolutely.
All right. Again, we are with our player of the week for Week 7. Broke a new Penn-Trafford, set a new Penn-Trafford record last week with a 48-yard field goal against Connellsville. Nate Schlessinger from Penn-Trafford. So, Nate, first of all, what is your favorite part about playing football?
It has to be the walk to the field with our drum line in front of us and the whole stadium is cheering us on. There's nothing that compares to that.
Anytime we're getting ready for a Penn-Trafford game, we're on the pregame show, and I hear the drums, and you know the sound I'm talking about. You know Penn-Trafford's getting ready to come out of the locker room, so that's pretty cool. When you're not playing soccer or football, what do you enjoy doing? What are some of your hobbies?
I don't have much free time, but if I do have free time, it's usually spent studying or just playing basketball or soccer in my yard.
Well, that'll lead me to my next question. So what's your favorite subject in school and why? And do you plan on utilizing that at the next level in the classroom?
My favorite subject has to be biology because I love the way things work and I love learning about the world. And I plan on going into the medical field.
Very cool. How about your top pregame meal? What's your favorite pregame meal?
I would have to go with chicken parm.
Good stuff. How about your favorite professional athlete? Could be football, could be soccer, could be baseball, basketball.
I would have to go with Erling Haaland because he's a forward just like I am, and I really just want to be like him.
Now, who does he play for?
He plays for Borussia Dortmund in Germany.
Okay. Is that your favorite team, too, soccer-wise?
No, not currently.
Who's your favorite team currently?
Chelsea.
Chelsea. Okay, I got you. How about if you could change a role in football or soccer, what would it be?
I think that handballs and soccer are just a little too strict, and there needs to be just a little bit more leeway.
Finally, Nate, I want to ask you about who has had the biggest influence on you in your life up to this point, would you say?
It would have to be my older brother because I grew up playing. He played soccer, and so I always grew up competing against him and pushing to be like him.
Before I let you go, I think we have to say hello to Barb, your grandma, who may or may not be watching or listening in Arizona. She has emailed us at separate times during our Penn-Trafford football broadcast and said, hey, I'm tuned in out in Arizona, so we got to give her a shout-out, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, Nate, thank you so much for your time. This was great. Good luck on Friday. Good luck in the soccer playoffs, and I'm sure we'll talk again down the road.
Definitely. I hope to be back.
Absolutely. Again, congratulations on all your success and setting that school record 48-yard field goal last week. That is Nate Schlessinger, our Week 7 Westmoreland Sports Network Player of the Week. We will rejoin you in a moment as we have a look at Week 8 matchups, including Penn-Trafford and Franklin Regional here on Westmoreland on the Gridiron.